From publicly slamming the former UFC lightweight champ for his delusional false sense of reality, to challenging the Notorious to a WWE-style contest to settle all scores, Brock Lesnar has revealed savage opinions about the UFC contender, perhaps returning fire for all the colorful insults Conor McGregor has heaped on the WWE legend. It's a long list of offenses, unfortunately, beginning with the very accusation of Conor that the WWE as a whole was full of absolute dweebs. While the Irishman could bring himself to praise OGs like Ric Flair and the McMahon family, everyone else got the short end of the stick, especially Brock, whose legendary career and numerous accomplishments couldn't save him from the chopping block, as he got a harsh verdict from the UFC's pay-per-view kingpin. At the UFC 202 media call, Conor called Brock juiced up to his eyeballs. Another fighter who got dragged in the mud by Conor for living in the past and still dressing up for teen fans was John Cena, the man you can't see. Though even Mystic Man couldn't have seen Brock solid, coming back at him with such a brutal response, as the celebrated wrestler from South Dakota showed that he was capable of giving as bad as he gets. And boy, it was a verbal takedown that I don't think Conor could forget. Brock has been the most high-profile export of the WWE to the world of martial arts. He became the next best thing in the heavyweight division of the UFC in 2008 and even claimed the champion's title in a brief but furious rise to the top. So being called a drug cheat by Conor, who's been out of active fighting for close to 3 years now, it wouldn't have been a very nice thing to hear. Returning the courtesy, Brock was quick to fire back at his former UFC colleague, calling him small fry in a far smaller division than the heavyweight was used to going up against anyways. Judging by the frame and time of their peak careers, 45-year-old Brock seems to outstrip Conor in both size and experience. So, for the 145-pounder to launch verbal attacks behind the heavyweight's back, or to claim himself as the inevitable champ of the WWE and the UFC on Twitter no less, sounded to the Beast like someone who's used to playing too many video games. His advice to the Notorious: either back up your claims by taking a fight in the WWE, or keep it shut. It's a feat only Brock has managed to achieve. Crossovers between boxing, MMA, and now perhaps the WWE are getting more popular recently. But that doesn't mean they're getting any more successful. Until Brock had come around to leave a very memorable mark on the UFC, or Ronda Rousey, who went from the UFC to the WWE around 2018 with WrestleMania 34 to kick it all off, there are very few fighters who've managed to achieve similar levels of success in both divisions. In just his first 4 fights, the Beast managed to clinch the heavyweight title at UFC 91. So with such a legendary trail of victories behind him, I'd sure expect him to be given the respect he deserves. Conor's not so sure, and some of it really is Brock's literal track record. For example, in 2016, shortly after his spectacular victory over Mark Hunt, Lesnar seemed all set for a comeback to the main card status, before things rapidly took a U-turn as the former champ ended up failing drug tests. The Irishman wasn't going to let this one slide, using it as ammo for his opinion that Brock couldn't possibly demand any respect from him. On the other hand, the WWE legend wasn't too keen on offering any respect to Conor either, making it clear he didn't think the 145-pounder was worth his weight, literally. Now, if he really wanted to punch above his weight class and take on the big guys, Lesnar proposed they settle it out with skills instead of empty words. "Just come to our arena," he proposed to Conor. Well, it seems as if Mystic Man is ready to take him up on that offer, as he considers a move to the WWE. He might just be able to do it with his current weight, as he's reportedly weighing in at 265 pounds before his highly anticipated UFC comeback. Plus, after the recent WWE-UFC merger worth $21.4 billion, I could see some pretty lucrative reasons for the UFC's PPV king to cross over. While he's gotta make his UFC comeback. First, it would make sense for him to take a break or test his bones up against WWE wrestlers first, which is exactly what Lesnar did when he was injured too. After facing serious injuries during his stint in the UFC, Brock returned to wrestling, before setting the stage for a comeback that has since failed. Conor could use the same playbook to hype up some publicity, or just to show Brock he could do what he'd been challenged to do. According to Brock, this publicity stunt wouldn't be anything new for the attention-seeking Irishman, whom he called out way back in 2016 for riding on the heavyweight's coattails and trying to get himself some cheap publicity, simply by dropping my name. Somehow, I can't see Conor taking kindly to this, as the mixed martial artist has been a fight entertainment prodigy in many ways, widely believed as he is to have paved the way for a new breed of vocal, outspoken, ruthless fighters. But judging by The Beast and his response to the former two-division champ, he's not going to be silent against anyone. His own journey from a heel to a supervillain is pitting him against Habib-era Conor McGregor. Lesnar has shown some ruthless and frankly unheard of brutality in recent times, especially with his recent performance in the main event at WWE Raw, where he was paired up with Cody Rhodes. But shortly after the bell rang, the powerhouse wrestler betrayed his own teammate, executing a German suplex that sent Cody into the timekeeper section. With retirement nearing for the legendary WWE star, it seems he's ready to go all out and submit the whole WWE before he goes. Even after he'd locked Rhodes in a high-angle lock, Brock seemed to be happy taunting his own teammate, all while his actual opponent, Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns, looked on in disbelief. If that's what he does to his teammates, imagine what The Beast is prepared to do to someone like Conor, who's already claimed he could slap the head off your entire roster, referring to the WWE. You'd imagine things would have cooled down between the two promotions and two of its biggest stars, especially now that both the WWE and UFC are under one banner, Endeavor. But as the battle of words continues between two of the promotion's top fighters, it seems as if the two sports might remain in their own different leagues under their merger. But even as they do so, they'll not be losing their mean streak. That's bound to bring out sighs of relief from all corners, seeing as a lot of fans were concerned that the two different sports would end up becoming replicas of each other. As it turns out, it could mean one more bout for Brock against a UFC fighter, even as he seems to be leaning towards Gunther for a retirement match at SummerSlam in 2023. Still, anything can happen in the world of martial arts. As Brock's unpredictable rise in the UFC to become a heavyweight champ with two successful title defenses behind him, that too after an unparalleled record in the WWE that has made him the 7th longest reigning champ in the history of the company. Whether or not Conor can replicate that level of success in the WWE would be an eye-catcher for sure. But it would be legendary if he somehow managed to book a fight with Brock himself despite the weight difference between the two fighters. Till then, The Beast suggests that the Notorious focus on eating his Wheaties and playing catch-up to the 290-pounder. And that's all for Brock Lesnar's savage opinion of Conor McGregor.